𝘼𝙣𝙤𝙤, everybody. All right. Well, guess what? Today I'm streaming in from a different location. As I said in episode 8, so happy to see you all here today. It's just going to be super awesome. It's going to be a little bit different than how we usually roll with our game, because the gods have fallen, and these are their mortal roles. But in episode 9, or 9 for our friends in Espanol, or nous for our friends, I think that was French. But oh yeah, today it's going to be a prequel. We're going to go and dive deep. Come and join us as we dive deep into a little bit of the background stories of each of your favorite heroes, the hard heroes, known as, actually, you know what? They don't have a team name yet. Perhaps they're only known right now as the Fallen. Now, let's do a little bit of introductions first. We're just a couple of guys and gals who love role play. We like doing voices. We like to learn new rules. And of course, we love to laugh while doing it. And as always, we're just going to go through and introduce ourselves. And I don't know if I can't remember if I introduced my name. I'm 𝘼𝙤𝙤𝙤, the emperor of this game. And now let's see, how do we introduce each other? We did a movie trivia once. Last time we introduced the player, and they gave a little bit of a background of their character and then of themselves. I'm just going to have to go with the person who can guess my weight. Go ahead.
198.5.
175.
Okay, good.
I have no idea.
I don't like this game.
I hate this game.
I'm just
I refuse to partake.
Same.
Damn it.
Correct answer.
I didn't know the right answer.
You fools who guessed, you guys go last.
I way overguessed on purpose, just to be clear.
We're going to go start with the two-tone hair, and then to pink hair. We'll go to white hair. And of course, last but not least, we're going to go with the one and only, the beard. But please take it away. Two colors.
Okay. We're doing two-tone. You can call me two-tone.
Two-tone.
I think
You're
tone's
tone
two-tone.
and I'm two-tone.
Two-tone more.
What are we doing?
So glad Sarah goes first. Makes me happy every time.
Every single time I go first, I'm like, I zone out. I'm sorry.
Who you are, what your character is, and a fun fact about life.
Yeah. What's your advice to the young viewers out there?
Advice?
Yeah, to all them rascals out there.
Okay, so my name is Sarah, and I play Morwen, and she's cute, and I love her, and she always remembers what she's doing, much unlike me. My advice to the viewers is...
Nailed it.
Always remember to take your medicine.
Oh, that's good.
It took her a second. All right.
I had to think about it.
Nice.
You guys are lucky. You go after me and look way cooler than me.
Totally.
Always.
Totally. But you totally nailed it. That's great advice. Good job. All right, we're going to go down to pink hair. Take it away.
Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Ree. I play Eve. As always, excited to be here, excited to play, excited to get into the backstory because you know that's my favorite. Advice that I have. Don't wait to start being yourself.
Ooh, love that.
Just
That's good.
start being yourself as soon as possible. You'll be happier for it.
Love that.
Wow. Whoa. Right
Heavy
on.
hitters.
Heavy hitter. Try and
Yeah,
top
damn.
that, white hair.
I cannot. I can already tell you right now, I will not be able to. What's up? I'm your girl, White Hair, aka K2.
I almost spit.
Nope.
I play Sabine. Thing of advice: don't smoke crack and stay in school, kids. That's all I got for you.
Wait, don't smoke crack and stay in school?
Yep.
But you can still smoke crack and leave school.
That is up for interpretation. You
Feel like
know
didn't
what?
put the
Do what
proper
you
pause in
love.
there.
Do what you love out there. All right.
Cut
I
their
am
mic,
not
cut their
one to
mic.
judge. I love and respect all, especially when you know what you love. And if you love crack, man, I ain't one to judge.
Cut her mic.
Get it right. So no, the team at Mortal Rolls do not
We do not
any comments on these
condone.
players. Do
Crap.
not.
Mortal Rolls does not endorse this message.
We said advice. We didn't necessarily
Perfect.
say good advice.
Good advice. Oh, fair. Fair. No, we love the spirit. We understand the spirit of what you're trying to say,
Yeah.
and we love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now let's see if the beard can bring it home. Bring it home, beard.
Hi, I am the Beard, otherwise known as Keegs. I play Orin, the fun-loving and love-loving reducted class.
Always reducted.
Yep. My advice is never take advice from Keisu. No.
Yeah.
I think my advice is just fucking be you, man. That's it.
Mm.
Just be you.
I love that.
Let her rip.
There's a theme going on here, except for Morrowind.
I mean, I feel like there were two themes. There was take your medicine, which is
Right.
also crack,
Be you. Take your medicine.
Drugs. Yep.
and
I like
also be you.
There we go.
Do your
we
thing.
went two directions.
Saved it.
Hey.
Be yourself and do drugs.
Yep.
Sometimes those are the same thing.
Yep.
Listen,
That's awesome.
some
Hearts,
drugs are
hearts.
good.
All the heart. All the booty pumpkin hearts. Like I
One day
said,
I'll
we
learn.
ain't here to judge.
I love it. Thank you so much for the beautiful introductions and for the beautiful advice out there. Now, today is going to be a little bit different. I have to say something. I have to give a shout out, just so you know. As you may know, I live in the true north and free, the country known as Canada, in a province called British Columbia. Why is British Columbia famous? Well, because Supernatural was filmed here. So hello. And I'm sure there's other things, but one of the things in the city that used to be called the city of the North, I think, or the capital, the true capital, the northern capital, I think is what they called it. They don't call it that anymore. I guess there was a lot of complaints. But anyways, I'm in this place called Prince George, and there's a company here called Rocket Shirts PG. I just want to give a shout out. If you ever find your way out here in beautiful central British Columbia in the north, and you go down and you're looking for a nice custom shirt, go down and check out our friends at Rocket Shirts PG, because I'll tell you what they did. They did this. This is the first merch reveal of potential merch. And anyways, take a look at that again. Man.
So good.
So if you guys are totally interested in getting some eventual Mortal Rolls merch, just let us know and what you would like to see, because we're totally open. This is the first time that we've tried this out, and I'm the first to have this. So anyways, looks fantastic. Wanted to give a shout out to the beautiful company that made it happen. That said, we do have some other announcements because, and I'm just going to be pointing down to where Morrowind is. We're going to turn the time over to our announcer, Sarah. Sarah, take it away. What do we need to know?
Yeah, we have a giveaway next week, y'all, we're drawing names. So make sure you head to our Instagram. The post is pinned to the top of the page. It says giveaway. We will also link it in chat. You can enter to win 4 Chonky dice from Axolotl Dice. They are going to be bigger than were initially promised. So instead of 32 millimeters, it is going to be 50 millimeters. So,
wow.
Mortal Rolls, always bigger than promised. She's going to be posting
over-deliver
sneak peeks to her Instagram this week. So keep an eye out. She's going to be posting some sneak peeks of what you can win. And I'm so excited to see what she's made because I haven't even seen. And I'm dying of anticipation. So make sure you check that out. Also, I think we have a Ko-fi now.
Uh-huh.
Do we have a Ko-fi? Not yet. Just kidding. We are setting up a Ko-fi soon. We will let you know the details at a later date to donate to the cause so that we can make merch for you. So keep your eyes open.
Eyes open.
2 eyes.
Both of them in your head.
Well, you wind up dead.
Again, Mortal Rolls does not support the advice or sayings of these crazy characters. If you have 2 eyes, 1 eye, or no eyes, that's okay. We love you. And we're going to say this. Give ourselves a follow on the Instagram and on the Twitch in order to qualify. And of course, I just want to let you know that if you have not checked out the YouTube videos is a whole different experience. And this is something that our dear, actually, 𝘼𝙣𝙤𝙤, who is our editor and graphic designer, puts together.
She's a ghost.
And she's a ghost, so I can talk about her. And just so you know, that it brings a whole different element to it. Here, Twitch, you watch it live. But when you see the edits that get put in, it's unbelievable. You can also catch that on the rerolls, the Mortal rerolls that we put out, I think every week, every Wednesday, Thursday, we try for. So you'll be able to catch up on old episodes and see the new edits to it. That said, the recap today is going to be we're not going to go into a recap. We're not going to go into a recap of what happened in episode 8. If you're joining us for the first time, you're in luck because we're going to be talking, like I said, about the past. There's a couple things that were referenced throughout the game that it just seemed like, did something happen before? Well, we're going to bring those experiences to you today. It's going to be done a little differently. We're not using FD-Foundry, just because, again, I'm in a remote location, not able to have all my setup. But we are still going to be using the power of our imagination, the power of our voices, and some pictures that I believe Keegan is going to take care of. Cheeks is going to take care of for us. Going to throw them up, which is going to be fantastic.
I'm the beard.
So, the beard. That's right. I have to keep on. I always forget your names every episode. I sometimes have to write these things down. So, that said, I think it's best that we actually perhaps just wait for 𝘼𝙣𝙤. So what we're going to do is we're going to just talk about the hey. The reason we were going to wait is because we're actually going to be starting with Sabine. So it's worked out perfectly. So, as you know, the gods have fallen, and these are the mortal roles. What's been identified here in our story is that the characters were gods, and they fell to the world below, each of them in a different location in the 𝙬𝙤𝙤 Empire. Now, where Sabine landed in episode 8, we did give a little kind of some pictures to kind of show what that looked like. She landed in a place called the 𝘼𝙣𝙤𝙤. Let's discuss a little bit about what your character's experience from waking up and walking around in the woods known as the 𝘼𝙤𝙤. What was life like for Sabine?
After Sabine woke up, she was terrified and confused. She was very feral. Picture a scared creature who has no memory of who or what they are. They are in the middle of the woods. It is dark and hot from the fire. You are in pain, not just in your mind, but in your body, everywhere, because you just fell from the freaking sky, crash landed onto the earth. Homegirl was hurting. That was the only thing that she could know and remembered was, owie, that hurt. And basically she just was running. She was running a lot. She was scared. She was very dirty, covered in mud and soot, and just the only thought running through her brain was run. That was the only word that she really knew.
Yeah. And during the period of Sabine being in the woods, of being feral, eventually she was found and taken into a home by a person that ultimately looked beyond her current condition and saw some sort of humanity and was reaching out for that. In the village of Bluntstone, she met a little girl by the name of 𝘼𝙣𝙖𝙤. And 𝘼𝙼𝙖 was the daughter of the guardian of Sabine. Now, during this period of Sabine learning about herself and learning and growing, the village didn't agree with what was happening, ultimately with Sabine. They in fact, words like abomination were thrown there. And also, you have to understand that the people of the 𝘼𝙤𝙤, they're very isolated. They're at the furthest reach of the empire. And they're very much connected with the woods. So when a couple of things began to happen, for example, it began to be a little bit harder to hunt. There was fires that broke out. Let's not forget the big explosion and fires in the middle of the woods. But soon the animals themselves began to be a little bit more scarce, and the rains stopped coming. And it seemed that this all started happening when Sabine arrived. So as superstitious as they were, they began to plot to appease to their goddess, one belladonna. And this is the scene that we will begin. As Brother Mayhew, dressed in a cloak, gray and brown with a rope tied, in the middle of the night with torches, led the way, kicking down the door and grabbing Sabine from her comfortable bed. Pulling her out, they tied her up and beat her so that she would not move or try and resist. Basically, they sought to overpower her. Grab her arms, tie her up, tight. Bring her to the altar. Corby crying. No, you can't take her. Papa's gonna let this. Papa's here. Great girl. Your Papa isn't here. He can't stop us. We're gonna finally do what we need to be done and finally bring salvation back to our village. Pulling her up. Sabine, what's going through your head as they wrestle you down, tie you, bind your hands, bind your feet?
She would be, at first she would fight teeth and claws and just be fighting them. But then as soon as they go to grab Corby, she would stop. And she would let them beat her and hurt her. And she would just say, Corby, it's all right. It's all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Perfectly fine. We're perfectly fine. We're perfectly fine. Go inside. Go inside and wait. Wait for Papa. Just wait. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. It's perfectly fine.
And in amidst, as you're talking, the hits from the clubs and the kicks, as they pick you up now, pull you up and begin to drag you. All you remember hearing is just the tears of Corby. And you also, as you look back, it's sort of bloodied at this time. You could just see the little image in the doorway, and then she disappears out of sight. You're being dragged through the village. The village itself isn't very modern. It's very much like a medieval village. The mud-stricken roads dried up now because of the lack of rain. But you can see that they're quite dry, cracked dirt. And dust begins to, as you drag, your feet are being dragged against the road. All the people of the village seem to be there, lined up, 2 rows, torches, some wearing ceremonial masks, as you're dragged to an altar. The altar itself is circular, almost like with ancient rocks, columns, if you will. It looks like it's been weathered at times when there was rain. It looks ancient. And it doesn't look like it's been used very much. As you're brought up there with all the torches lit around, it's almost as if they kind of cleared and freshly dusted and brought you to the center. And they tied you to a center post. And they began to chant. As you looked around, you saw the engraven images. Now, do you have your character sheet with you? Give yourself a roll.
Okay.
To see what you remember seeing.
Okay. Let me get my dice. Or where my dice is, right here in front of me, guys. Because I always forget where they are. Same place every single time. That'd be a natty 20. Plus 8 for perception. So that would be a 28.
Amazing. Okay. That would be considered a critical success.
Oh my
and how
gosh.
appropriate, as the adrenaline is rushing and your sense is probably in tune. Amazing. You capture it all in. And while they're doing their ceremony, addressing the crowd, your eyes looking around, probably one swollen shut a little bit at this time. And you look, and you can see on each of the columns engravings in a language that For you, you probably didn't quite understand what exactly it is. Your guardian tried to teach you their language, the writings, and there was a symbol, of course, that you recall.
Oh, yeah.
That was the symbol of mother.
Dang. Ooh, full circle, guys.
And you, as you look, not only are there kind of these old archaic symbols on the columns, but there's pictures. And each of the columns have a different pose of the same person, a woman that looks like a warrior, holding a sword, tall. And at the bottom of her feet, bodies. In fact, you see these images of a goddess warrior standing, one with the sword like this, as you know, piercing into the ground. There you see the images of bodies, and just bodies trickling as if the souls are being cast into Tartarus itself. Others where the sword is raised, and the same bodies strewn across with depictions of blood. The artistry, the care to show bloodshed. For Belladonna is the goddess of bloodshed. And each of these columns brings some reverence to her. As you are there in the center, the one they called Brother Mayhew comes forth, this time wearing a mask of a depiction of a wolf. In a silver mask, one with these clay kind of to make it looks as if it's a silver molded right over his face with the nose, snout, but then around it has the color of clay to depict all these, just add some more texture to the fur. And he says, "Goddess of bloodshed, hear our plea, hear our cries, hear our plea. We offer the sacrifice of old, as you have taught. For your anger is upon us, and we know the only way to appease you is through bloodshed. Take this one, the one who has caused us all this grief, who have desecrated your forests, who have brought terror, turmoil to your people. We will consume her heart, and we will drain her blood on the sacred altar. And so we pray for the rains to come once again." During this time, as the prayers in behind every word that he makes, you hear the chant as if it's repeating. Hear our prayer, hear our prayers, in that manner. You feel a tug behind you. In the chaos of the torches and the ritual, you feel the bands of your wrists begin to loosen. And you hear a voice. "Sabine, Sabine." "Get you out of here.
You need to run.
I'm not scared."
I know, but you need to run.
"No, I can't. I can't leave without you." And you feel now as if sawing of a sharp edged rock, ones that her papa would use to carve the pelts of the animals. she accidentally cuts you. And that pain, as you hands are freed, you bring your hands to you to look. And there across your hand, you see your blood. You look to see Corvi looking up at you. And you can see that she has also been beaten. And it was at that moment that the rage came out.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you're still alive. You know that this ritual did not happen. But all time blacked out. As you rage through this moment, that's when cries from within the village also began to call out. In fact, the bell of warning began to ring. And this is where Sabine, as you went full out beast mode,
Oh, yeah.
the intruders, the slavers, raided the village. And that's when you were captured and thrown into a cage.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, we're not going to continue in terms of what you remember, because if you recall Oren telling the story of how he freed you, we're going to get to that. But Sabine, I have to ask, what's going through your head right now in hearing and remembering, going back and reliving this? What's going through your head?
I really wonder what that brother's blood tastes like. And if I ripped his throat out. And if I ate his heart.
They called you the Ravenger on the ship. And certainly because of the state that they found you, in terms of the bloody mess upon you.
Whoops.
Now, we go now to a different part as you're placed on the ship. This ship sets sail across the ocean. Raiders are a big part of the 𝘼𝙣𝙣 Empire. These raiders, they tend to be located in a place called Sikazi. It's kind of a main, it's kind of like the main city where they sort of slavers tend to do their black market deeds. It's at the edge of the empire in a cove called the Thieves' Retreat. In fact, it's a place near the Empire's Edge forest. It is literally at the Empire's edge. And this is a haven for these folks. They tend to raid when they're looking to make a quick dollar. That's what happened to your village. They came and they took as many prisoners as they could to ultimately trade.
Sucks to
So
suck.
during this time,
They all deserved it.
so they probably didn't find too many people that they could enslave because someone may have cut them down. You're not quite sure. But in a different place, in a similar location, there was one who fell from the sky into the waters below, near what is known as Siren's Cove. And this is the story of the one that the siren called the Fallen One. Because as the siren sat on the cove, seeing this like a fallen star hit the ocean with a huge burst, where the tidal waves that came and crashed across the cove, curiosity and fear, the siren went to look, and there, crawled up against the shore, was almost a lifeless a body, one that was coming to their senses. This, of course, was, well, at this time, he didn't have a name, only what the siren called him. The Fallen One, Curiosity, the handsome angel that fell from the sky, the mystery. The siren was very much intrigued.
The 10-inch wonder.
With this stranger. I'm sorry, what was that?
Nothing.
What?
How would the siren know that? I wonder.
During this time, let's see. To the Fallen One, the Curiosity, the inch wonder. I can't remember what was that.
Inch wonder.
Can you tell us what life was like?
It was interesting. It was a time of learning, or in figuring out that he had a natural gift, a skill for music, for words, for lyrics. Learning to use the sound waves to manipulate the world around him. It was a time when he was learning who he was, how to be.
And the siren was absolutely intrigued, for the siren feeds on the fears and feeds on the dreams. And yet you had none. What is your name? Do you remember? Do you remember?
I remember nothing. I don't know my name.
Then I shall call you mine.
Yes, mistress.
And you will help me. And I will let you live.
What do you need from me?
So often there are some sailors that come. I would like you to help me, draw them to me with your song. I'll teach you that your words, your song is very entrancing, and I can use to bring them to me. It's very simple. I'm lonely, and I would like more people to enjoy my gifts.
Okay, I can do that.
Great. Great. So curious. And she puts her hands to your face, and you could just remember feeling just the roughness, yet the claws on her hands, ever so gentle, just rubbing down your cheek, not trying to give any harm. In fact, very caring, very nurturing, the way that she touched your face. It wasn't some time. In fact, it was quite a few days, if not weeks, before the first ship came. And there you were sent out to play the song. Do you remember what song you would have sang to draw the ship in?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been lyrics that a human would understand. It would have been words filled with lust and desire. It would have been lyrics of a language long, long forgotten, language of beasts and gods, a pull of just a desire to feel and hear what's happening.
Wonderful. And that, as you saying,
Would have been.
I would like you to.
Would have been Shakira.
Go ahead.
That's 𝘼𝙣𝙣𝙤𝙤 nailed it. Shakira, Shakira.
These hips don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Shakira, Shakira.
Oren's hips do not lie. It's true.
As the mystery began to sing and call, I want you to roll in a performance. If you have your character sheet there, and roll a d20. Oh, baby. And we're going to see how well and how many people you drew to you.
Let's go, Scully. Prove Ree's theory wrong.
Okay, we can do that. Was there a circumstance bonus at all with that?
Nope.
Okay,
so roll your
plus 11 is at 25.
I think we have minuses for our circumstance right now.
Sorry, you rolled a 25?
Yeah, it's a 25.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. Yeah, with that 25, you drew quite a few of the sailors from the passing vessel. In fact, as the ship began to turn its way, you could kind of see the ship off of the distance, heading towards the cove, and at the last minute began to swerve away, missing what you're familiar to be certain rocks, and perhaps at that moment you were a bit relieved that the ship missed some rocks, but you could see the splash into the water of about 10 souls as they jumped into the water and began to swim towards you and to the siren, who also was there listening, very pleased, and then also began to join in with her song. These 10 souls were absolutely mesmerized, and they needed a place to stay. The siren convinced you to help put them into the cages, and because they did not have enough beds, that the cages were the most appropriate place for them to be. And so they were placed. And as they were there within the cage, you had time to just sort of talk with them. And as the siren slept, for she was not looking to do anything with them at this time. What would the fallen one do or chat with if he would?
Yeah, I think he would you'd play a tune for them, just a simple kind of calming tune, and ask some questions. He's really curious. Where are y'all from? What brought you here?
Well, there was 10 sailors in cages. There was one in particular that seemed to have taken a liking to you. Others were sort of just kind of lost in their thoughts and thoughts of making love to the siren and enjoying the rest of their days. And really, that's all somewhat of what they muttered. But this one took a keen interest in you and said, "Well, hi. My name is 𝘼𝙣𝙣𝙤. I am from, I don't know if you've heard of the place called Remorum. I sort of grew up there, but I spent most of my days in the service of the empire in Navistus, the city. Are you familiar with that place?
No, I've never heard of it. I know only the cove.
Oh, well, it's a beautiful place. It's full of the ships of every size and wonder. In fact, this one of the vessels that we were sailing on was one of the Empire's armada. They were sort of searching the area for slave ships. There's some slavers out, and we sort of went about and looked for them to try and give them a choice to end their ways, or we may just have to sink them. But I always hope that the people change, and that's what we did. But it seems that most of the people, the sailors on the ship are here now in these cages. So I'm not too sure what they're going to do on the ship if they come across a slaver ship. But yeah, hey, maybe the siren will be so nice that she'll let us out, and I can show you Navistus one day. Would you join? Would you like to come with me so I could show you this place? This is so strange that you only know this place. I feel so sad for you. I would love to show you our empire, our beautiful empire.
I don't know. Maybe that sounds beautiful and amazing, and but this is my home. This is all I've ever known. It's what's a slaver?
Oh, they're really bad people. These slavers, they take people away from their homes, and it's really bad. They're really not nice. And we try to stop them. They sell them for, there's some bad people that buy them for workers or to work in the fields or sometimes fight in an arena, unfortunately. And they're just, it's really quite sad. But don't worry about that. Hopefully you don't have to run into one of them. If you stick with me, we're part of the Emperor's navy, so you're protected with us.
Okay, that sounds cool. That sounds like something I'd like to experience. Maybe I can talk to my mistress and see if she'll let me do that.
Well,
after the feast.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'm sure if you tell her that you'd like to see and that I would I would take you with me. That I'm sure she'd be pleased with that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Thank you. I'll talk to her.
Okay, I'll be here.
It was nice to
And then,
meet
sir,
you.
it was really nice to meet you. I'm sorry I didn't ask your name. What is your name?
I don't have one. My mistress calls me a lot of things. The fallen one is one of the names.
Oh, fallen one. Oh, hey, tell you what. When we get out here, there are a lot of names in the Empire, and you can pick whatever name you want.
What's your name?
My name is Oren.
It's nice to meet you, Oren.
Nice to meet you, friend. and then he sort of sits down and, just kind of, again, sort of in this sort of transient state, begins to sort of mutter to himself, this siren's so beautiful. She's just so beautiful. Can't wait to take my friend with me to see the Empire. And you did ask the siren about it. The siren seemed to be very intrigued with what you had to say. In fact, she asked you, please point out which one was Oren.
It's the happy-looking young fellow.
This one.
Yeah.
The one with the nice smile.
That's him.
Yes. Oh, yes. I can. And at this time, this is when you begin to see a little bit more about the siren and the drooling that comes. She in herself, as the siren, is in a way, in her way, she's very quite lovely, very beautiful. But her voice sounds very rough. But when she sings, she sounds as if she's a songbird, like an angel, just a call. But her voice does not reflect the way that she sounds. She's dressed in what looks to be almost like a see-through robe that has all these kind of different sparkles and the glittery of the light, especially in the moonlight. It glitters so beautifully. In the sunlight, you notice that she doesn't tend to go out directly in the sun. It's more at the dusk or the dawn, but never during the midday. She goes, and Oren's face. This is probably something that's burned in your memory. The joy, the absolute joy of the siren coming to see him and taking him out of the cage. Just an absolute joyous grin. And as she knelt him down, and you kind of standing back, all the different sailors kind of there, kind of sort of watching, almost in a disagreement of like, oh, I wish it was me. How can he be chosen first? No, like almost kind of fighting to be chosen. That's when she placed her hands onto his face. And her webbed fingers almost crushing his face as she began to suck, almost as if it's a mist from his mouth. That face would be burned in your memory from a sheer joy to absolute terror once he realized what was actually happening. his eyes shifted to you as he turned to a dried body. You saw his eyes look at you, almost asking you, why? The siren thanked you and said, tomorrow we'll have another. Find which one would be best to fill me like this one did.
Okay. Can I play you a song tonight?
A song for me.
Of course.
I would like that.
Okay. Great. I'll play you a song to commemorate our win.
Very well. Very well, mystery one. You are mine, and you are my prized possession. Yes, play me a song that I may sleep, as I am quite full from this one's dreams and fears.
Of course. I will play a song just for you. And he will muster all of the pain and the sadness and the anger. It's the first time he's felt really any of that, and he will put it into a song that is meant for sleep and to soothe her and to put her into a slumber for as long as he can.
Go ahead and roll your performance. And given the fact that you are feeling these feelings for the first time, you would have a +4 to this roll to see how well you put her to sleep and how much time you had. What did you roll?
Yeah, 33.
Oh, jeez. It's almost
18.
as if the barbarian champion gods of the reducted class, whatever it is, come to you. And in that moment, you played in a way that you've never played before. So much so that this siren fell absolutely asleep and was unaware of what you did next. And please describe what you did next.
He would have run to the cages and before he went in, maybe just leaned over and thrown up profusely a couple times. Then cleaned himself up and gone in, and he would have opened all of the cages and paused and gone, hi, I'm here to help. I'm here to save you. We're gonna get out of here. And he would have played a song to clear their minds, a song of courage and a song of drive to like have the will to make the right decision, and he will say, it's time to get going. We need to get back to your ship.
Apollo, they absolutely hearing what you had to say in song and hearing your words and coming to the realization of where they were, they absolutely followed you. And as you all made your way through the Siren's Cove to get to the shore in hopes of finding a way to escape, that's when you saw the ship sailing. And one with torches nearby, there was things to burn. You were able to wave the ship in and get aboard the vessel. The vessel was a slaver ship. You notice that some of the sailors were put inside another sort of cage. Others went up and weren't seen again. But the captain of the Queen Aurelia took a very special interest to you, seeing that you were no Navy, you were no seaman. You weren't part of the Emperor's armada. Now, you are curious one. What do you call yourself?
I'm Orin of Siren's Cove.
Orin of Siren's Cove, you say? Ah! Well, I know a good loyal man when I see one. And given the fact that you have not dedicated your life to the Emperor, you can ride freely on my vessel, as long as you swear lealty to me and this ship. What
Sure.
say ye?
Yeah. What's lealty?
Loyalty.
Oh.
It's when you dedicate your life, every of your being, to the will of the ship and its captain, me, Captain Crenshaw.
Captain Crenshaw, of course. Yeah, I will. I'm here to serve.
You do.
Brilliant. All right then, grab that mop and swab the decks. We're off.
I might be better served encouraging your crew to work as hard as possible. I think I could probably encourage them to work really hard.
And how are you gonna do that? Orin of Siren's Cove.
I can be pretty persuasive. Let me show you.
All right then.
And he'll
show me.
He'll play another song of joy, like a song that really encourages you to work hard and to just get it done. A little shanty called "Riding on a Donkey." It was hey ho, riding on a donkey.
Hey ho, hey ho.
Donkey riding, and, donkey riding.
Go ahead and give that a roll.
Plus 10 for the donkey riding song.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, you know what? Given the fact that this crew has been on, and you could see that the majority of the crew was already kind of tending their wounds. They seem to have been through quite a scuffle from their last wherever they were coming from, and hearing that song, Donkey Ride, they all sang it as if it was a chanty, and you found yourself among a crew and a captain, allowing you freedoms to move around as you've gained their trust. It was during this time of you gaining the trust that you heard that they did in fact come across another ship and sunk it. It was almost an abandoned empire ship. It seemed to have lost more than half its crew, and it was no match for the Kreen Aurelia. Another kill, another notch on the mast. But you did also hear that they came around and picked up a few merchandise, is what they ultimately called it. And especially one that to be very careful of, for she's a biter and a scratcher. And you could see that even one guy who is with the tending of a wound with gouge just right across the face, missing an eye, and just bandages. Hey, be careful. She likes eyes. Oh, you know. And so you see this feral beast of a woman in this cage. Ranting. What would be going through Sabine's head as all this has been going on?
She would be crouched in a corner, probably listening to the people on the deck and the mice that are running and scampering. She would probably be trying to talk to them. And then when someone would come down the stairs and try to look at her, then she would kind of cower in the corner and just
Amazing.
just staring and waiting, and then if they got close, if they were going to like put food down or whatever, then she would lunge at them.
Yeah. And they began just to throw food at that point. And in fact, you know what? Oren probably had the chore of to go and feed. Hell, I'm not going down there no more. Oh, she almost got me this time, you know. And you guy, you do it, you know, and sort of do that. And it was during this time that Oren, you saw Sabine and you know her fierceness. But what was it that stood out to you? What do you think that stood out to you about her that made you have sympathy?
You would see her probably chittering to a rat if you were quiet, talking to it, trying to get its name. Were you quiet or loud coming down the stairs?
I was quiet, of course.
She would be squeak squeak.
So let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's do a contested roll. Oren will roll a stealth, and Sabine will roll a perception.
What'd you roll?
13.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Wait, perception? Perception? No. What did you say for me? Stealth?
Yeah.
No, perception.
No, a perception for you. Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 4. 12. That'd be 12 for me.
Oh. And what did Oren? What's Oren
13.
Roll? Way more. Oh, you rolled 13?
Yeah.
Oh.
So there you go. So just yeah, you know what?
So
The chittering of the rat caught the attention of Sabine. That whereas in any other circumstance, I think you probably would have heard him coming down, but just the fascination because you think that you actually heard the rat saying its name. Like what did you hear?
Me or him?
Yeah. Yeah, you what did you hear the rat say its name was? As you think in amongst the chitter.
Osbert. Osbert the rat.
Yeah, Osbert. And there you go. As Orin, you come down, you hear Sabine referring to this rat as Osbert. And it was during this time then on the ship, the Queen Aurelia, that Orin, you came across her, and something about her just stuck out to you, so much so that as you began to dock at Remoram's port, you made a decision. What was that decision?
You know, Oren told me that slavers were bad people and that his job was to find the slavers and to stop them, because they would sell them into horrible places and make them fight and put them into really bad spots. And I don't want that to happen, especially to this beautiful creature who looks so innocent and sweet, and she talks to the small innocent little creatures of the world, and someone like that should never be forced to fight in an arena. And so I'm gonna wait my turn. I'm gonna steal the key to her cage, and I'm gonna let her out. And because I've seen her get really, really feral, I'm gonna let her out and then maybe run so that she doesn't eat me.
I should try talking to her though.
I think you would have just watched her and not necessarily talked to her, maybe just observed as she talked to the rats and the little bugs and creatures, and just kind of watched her curiously.
Door opens and you hide. Sabine, your instincts kick in. Where do you go as all of a sudden the cage is open for the first time in weeks?
She's run. That's the first thing on her mind, and she would be hungry, so hungry, and so hungry, so hungry, and I need to run, and out, and she would say goodbye to Osbert and tell him to get away. And that would be the last real conscious thought before she goes so feral that she runs out of her cage, and there's gouge marks in the wood where her feet are, where her claws are. And as she runs on, like, top of the, like, from the lower deck up top to the top of the deck, and she runs and she's jumping off of the deck, she shifts full into a wolf and runs to the forest, or run out wherever she's smelling fresh air.
Yeah. And from the port of where you landed, the Rimwood is actually quite close as you're able to kind of run past the salty smell, the smell of the fish, and the smell of the sweaty workers and civilization, the comforts of the woods. It's very nearby, and to the Rimwoods you head, and that is where you make a home. It is on the side of Remorum, just outside the city, in a location now known as Callista's Crater. This is where the story of one by the name of Morwen came to be. But at this time, she was not known as Morwen. In fact, at this time, she did not have a name, and she was very much in a different situation than the other two found themselves. What would be Morwen's first memory of the impact and waking up? What was that like?
When she first woke up, she was surrounded by dust. It was a gigantic sandstorm. And she was very disoriented. She didn't know where she was or who she was. She woke up flat on her back, and she thought she saw maybe one woman, maybe two women, as they looked at her and then walked away. And she tried to follow them, but
yeah, you can definitely roll a perception roll, because during this time of you waking up, the first memory was if you saw one or two people. You were able to identify women, but was there any other features that you were able to identify?
All right. I think I'm gonna roll this full dice. Here's some. And you said perception?
Yep.
So 17.
17. Okay. You actually get some details of these two women. While your memory is a bit hazy, you do recall there was specific details on each one. What was the details that you saw on each of these personages?
I don't know. I think that she would have seen red eyes, and she would have seen long purple hair.
And those characteristics kind of stuck with you as you thought about ever since then, ever thinking about these two, whether they were a dream, was it a vision, was it imagination? Those characteristics stuck with you.
Mm-hmm.
It was that time as you began to look and you were trying to, almost as if you were trying to remember as much as you could in this situation, trying to call out. But the dust in your mouth, in your teeth, in your lungs, it's almost as if that and the exhaustion that you felt made you collapse and pass out. It was during this time as the Callista's crater, Callista being the goddess of the hunt, the goddess of beasts, the goddess of the moon, the crescent moon. And it seemed that the crater itself was in that sort of shape. It was weird, not necessarily like a crater, but it seemed to have the shape, some people said, of a crescent moon. So hence, they decided to call it that, whatever the scholars or religious figures, whether it was a miracle or not. There's all these sort of discussions. That being said, it was there in this roadway that was it was sort of a crossroads sort of area that led down this main highway that leads into the empire. Of Remorum in the province of 𝘼𝙣𝙤𝙤. There's the main highways that go to Astea, which is Solara is the capital. There's one road that goes there. There's another road that goes to Navistus, which is found in Nepegius province. There's these crossroads that kind of lead out from this area. There's only one way in to Remorum, and that is between these it's almost like a canyon where the famous Vetus tree is. It's said to be, this canyon is said to hold this mystical tree, as so the legends say. That is where Johannes Flick was traveling back from, purchasing, as a merchant. He's coming back from one of his regular routes, selling in one of the nearby cities and villages. And he was coming across and came across the sandstorm, and him being led by a big goat, like a big billy goat with full horns, much larger than your average goat, named Maurice, pulling the cart. And as Joe was just sort of on the cart, just trying to see through, where did this storm come from? Oh, if my name ain't Johannes Flick, I swear this storm just came out of nowhere. And immediately Maurice comes to a full stop. Oh. And he sort of kind of tumbles forward. As he tumbles onto the back of his goat, he's like, by Jove, what on earth are you stopping like in such a manner? And then he sees exactly what Maurice stopped for, as there was a woman laying in the middle of the sandstorm. And that's when oh my goodness. She looks young. She looks like and helpless. Much younger than him. Not like but he's looking at this mysterious woman, and compassion fills his heart. Something touched his heart. Well, I swear that Arcus himself perhaps led me here. Maurice, let's bring this woman home and make sure that she's okay. And Arcus, being the messenger god, the god of speed and flight, the god that guides Johannes Flick in his journeys to make sure that he makes it to his locations in a good and efficient manner, he gets off and he picks up and covers her up with whatever he had in terms of a tarp, just to make sure that she's not indecent, and lays her down comfortably amongst the hay and moves things around so that she can lay there as he gets back onto the cart and takes her home to Remorum. Now, Morrowind, why don't you tell us about your life at Joe's? Like, what was Morrowind's experience now? We can have a bit of a conversation to find out, like how your story is very much different than the last two that we heard about. So what was that like?
Yeah. So living at Joe's was actually really, really great. I have 3 siblings. I have a little sister named Penelope, and I have 2 little brothers, Marcus and Rusty. Now, Rusty, he's a little bit clumsy, but I really like him. He reminds me of myself. And it was really great. Joe encouraged me to pursue things that I found very interesting, and I found out that I'm really good at making healing tinctures and goat salve and really good teas. And I found out I'm good at making other things too, but Joe really encouraged me to make the healing things. And I spent a lot of time, at the library. I woke up with amnesia, and so I couldn't really remember anything about my life before at all. So I spent so much time at the library just learning as much as I could about the world around me, except for what goat salve does. Nobody will tell me what that does. So yeah, it was just really great. There was a lot of family dinners, and to thank Joe for taking care of me, I'd cook and I'd clean the shop, and I'd make my candles and my teas, and I'd sell them. And it was just really wonderful. I had a lot of fun.
Joe welcomed you into the family. In fact, gave you your very own goat.
That's true. I named her Daisy.
And for those who don't know, Johannes Flick goes by Joe. He runs a goat farm, and in fact, prior to Morrowind coming, he very much just sold the cheese, the cheeses and the meats and the things that people come down to the butcher, but very rare did he ever actually sell the meats. It was very scarce. It was like because he loves his goats, and it's more about the goat milk and the cheeses and all that. But when Morrowind came along, and with Morrowind's talents, I think with Morrowind convincing him to try something new, to try and bring in business, he trusted. He was very trusting, and kind of goes to show the relationship that Joe and Morrowind have. It's very much a trusting and loving relationship. Then the goats went missing. What does Morrowind remember about that? The day that the goats started going missing.
We thought, that Rusty was just hugging his goats too tight. But then it was more than just Rusty's goat that went missing. It was a few of the babies and Maurice's mate. It was really sad. We were all so sad for Maurice. He just has the saddest bleat now. Instead of, a happy little meh, it's more like a meh. So
Poor Blossom. Poor Blossom.
Stop laughing. You're making me laugh.
Maurice's mate.
Yeah. So Maurice, he just, instead of, jumping around and being a little happy, he just goes, meh.
Yeah. Yeah, not quite the same. Not quite the same. And but the oddest thing about these goats going missing, and Joe sort of brought it to your attention that he find these things left behind. Do you recall, Morwen, what those things were?
Well, yeah, it was weird. So the day after Rusty's goat kind of went, we found we found some squirrels on our front step, but they weren't just squirrels. They were posed in such a heroic way that they were fighting each other, and it was dramatic because one was like, ugh.
They were like little pieces, works of art.
It was really works of art. And I said to Joe, this must be a gift. And he said, yes, it's a gift from Arcus. And so he put it up on the shelf, to say thank you for your goat. That's what the gift from Arcus was. It was to say thank you for the goat. And then Maurice's mate, Sunny, she disappeared, and the next morning we had another one, more squirrels, but this time there was also chipmunks, and there was a toad with armor on it. Yeah, it was really just quite unique. And so, Joe started really displaying them because they were gifts from the gods. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Joe, being very devout and being quite religious in terms of his household, worshiping Arcus.
Oh my gosh,
very
I
much
just looked at the stream.
What's that?
Sorry, I had to.
You need to see the stream, Tom.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. Okay. But anyways, so Joe, but then there was the one day that Joe actually began to realize that maybe perhaps this wasn't Arcus's work. And it was the day that there were some footprints left behind. And this was the day that Joe, in fact, met and found out that there was this woman in the woods that seemed to be leaving these little gifts behind. And while this goes to show the nature of Joe didn't get angry because he saw that, obviously perhaps this poor woman needed these goats more than him. And the works of art were very beautiful. And so much so that when Rusty hugged his goat, his second goat, for a little too tight, he decided to take that goat over to the woman in the woods to see if she could make it into a training goat. And this is where Sabine and Joe had this bit of already a business relationship, in hopes that the goats will stop going missing and have more of a relationship where, maybe perhaps you can earn some money by doing this favor. Oddly enough, what was Sabine's view on money?
I don't know what that is until Eve taught me about it. And so Joe got them all for free. Mm-hmm.
Ever so often, whatever Joe left, also would probably appear back in the farm, and you'd hear Marcus, Penelope, and Rusty. Don't tell Joe, take it away. As they began to create a little bit of a savings account. Life for Morrowind was good. There's, and I think that's the main thing here about Morrowind's backstory, is that her background was quite good. She was found by what seems to be the right person. However, Eve's story is much different. If we could say that Eve was not found by the right person, I guess that is a fair statement. And to sort of showcase a bit of what this relationship looked like. For those who have been watching the episodes, probably heard about Trick and seen a picture of Trick, which was revealed in the last episode. Trick, the organic Trick, the grass-fed manipulator, is what he was known as in episode 8. But Trick was not a kind person. And there was one incident in particular that really highlighted this for Eve. So let's talk to Eve, and let's ask about, prior to this event that we're going to be talking about here in the marketplace, what was overall Eve's feelings about Trick at this time, prior to what we're about to describe?
He was the one who saved me from certainly a worse fate, and he took care of me and gave me a place to stay and kindness, and certainly if there's anyone I could trust, it would be him. I just wanted to do right by him for everything he's done for me.
And he did right at the beginning. In fact, he saved your life. He saved Eve's life. Eve woke up in a cemetery. Eve found her way into the city of Remorum, confused, lost, and definitely naive, and fell for probably one of what is considered the oldest tricks in the book. The child needing help, leading them into a dark alley. I think that kind of goes to show a little bit about Eve by wanting to do right. And what was Eve's thoughts as the child was pleading for help for their mother? My mother is sick. Please, you gotta help her.
So I'm not sure what I can do, but if there's anything I can do, I'll help you. I just wanted to do. There was a child in need, then of course I was going to try to help.
Yeah. Oh, it's just right over here. She fell down, she did. And she's now unconscious. It is. And just please. And just kind of tugging at your dress and trying to lead you away from the crowd where you were at.
This way?
Yeah, this way. Oh, gee, thanks, miss. I was out here all bloody day, and you're the first one to finally stop and help.
Oh, that's so. That seems awfully cruel.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened to her?
The same old, lady things. and very, very vague in his responses as you question. A reasonable person probably would have picked up on something. He didn't. She's right there in the alleyway, behind the boxes. Yeah, she's just right that way. Go quickly.
All right. Yes. Excuse me. Ma'am, are you all right? Is that can I help you?
And it was at that point that Eve would have heard the voice, "Why'd she a beaut?" And that's when the cloth goes over your head and grabs you from behind, binding you at your wrists.
She's, immediately struggling.
Queen Aurelia's going to leave port soon. We'll get a good price for her.
Let me go, please. I didn't do anything. I am just like you. There must be some mistake.
No mistake. Now quit your yapping. And
someone help me.
And then it was at that point, as you're being kind of shoved through and what seemed to be like a maze within the city of being, you're able to see through a bit through the mask, but the areas that you were being kind of pushed around in were always in the dark, and you never did kind of see the full sunlight in your face. You got the sense that you were definitely being taken through the back roads. And then at one point, that's when you heard, well, what have we got here? I think you best leave her to me. Get the hell away from here. You hear now this little bit of a fight. And then all of a sudden, what sounds like your hands were released, and you hear this, oh, you got me. Oh, all right, we're out of here. And they sort of run.
Hello, what's going on? Is someone there?
And then the hood gets lifted off your face. Hello, darling. You look like you need a friend.
Thank you for helping me. What is? Thank you. Are they gone?
Oh yes, absolutely. They're gone. They won't be a problem anymore. Oh, so you know what? You're very lucky that I found you. The things they could have done to you. My goodness, darling, you are beautiful. Oh, let me unbind your hands, your soft hands, and very quickly begins to release you.
Thank you. What is it that you? What can I call you?
Oh, well, allow me to introduce myself, darling. My name is Trick, and I am here to help you. I can see you're not from around here. Oh, but darling, let's see here. Do you have a name?
I do. I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember anything.
You don't remember anything? Darling, do you have family, perhaps?
I don't know. I woke up outside this place, and I just wandered in this, tried to find people, and I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Hey, it's okay. I'm here now. I'm going to take good care of you. Come, let's get you cleaned up. You're very, very lucky. I found you. You don't know how lucky you are. In fact, I have a gift here. This always gives me courage. And he places a pendant around your neck. This always brings me good luck. I want you to have it.
Thank you.
You're
That's
very
very kind of you. Why are you being so kind to me?
because you deserve kindness. Everyone deserves kindness. And I am the most giving of persons that you could have run into here in all of Remorum.
Very lucky indeed.
You are you hungry?
Yes, that is what I'm feeling, isn't it?
Perhaps.
That's what that is called. Yes, I don't
Very well, darling.
remember this feeling. I suppose I don't remember anything, but this is strange. Never mind, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. Where are
That's
we
all
going?
right. Oh, well, let me find a place. In fact, I know just the place. And at this time, he takes you to a bakery where you smell for the very first time the baked breads and the sweets. And he allows you to say, whatever you want, I will buy for you. He showers you with praise and with food. But please, what would have Eve taken? Like, what is her?
Yeah, she's super overwhelmed. Like just everything looks good, everything smells good, and this feeling of hunger is so strange to her. So just she'd stare at everything. She might pick one thing, but ultimately I think she would probably just what do you think is best? I've never tried any of these.
Well, what you picked is perfect. In fact, we'll take 12 of them. And that's what he says to the merchant. And right away, he puts all the kind of the sweetbreads together that you chose. And he boxed it up and said, you deserve nothing but the best. Here, come with me, darling. If you don't have a place to stay tonight, it would be my absolute honor to have you stay with me in a warm, safe place. The city can be so scary. You just seen the people that would take advantage of such a precious thing as you. You see the pendant around your chest. That is one of protection from the Lady Mother herself.
Lady Mother?
Yes. The goddess Lucinia. She is the mother of most of the gods.
I see.
And she is the wife of the great god Zeus.
Those names sound familiar.
Of course.
I would like to. I wish I remembered more about them.
Well, on a full stomach, I'm sure you'll remember. Plus, now that you have the pendant around your neck, good luck will follow you always. Darling, I will take very good care of you. Don't you worry.
Thank you. Trick, thank you. I don't know what I did to be so lucky, but I'm very grateful for everything. And I just, whatever I can do to...
Yes. You can join me for dinner tonight. And you will see the place that I have is very warm, very safe. You are my guest. You can stay as long as you like. Darling. And he puts out his arm as if to, have you put his arm around his.
And she will.
And he kind of pats your hand. And that's when he sort of leads you and he starts telling you about the wonderful home and place that he lives in and begins to answer all the different kind of questions you may have had. He was very charming, and he was very giving and in giving you the praise that perhaps your heart needed to hear. And for a while, I'm sure life seemed good. I'm sure the relationship seemed to be something that was, I don't know,
Special. And there were things that were strange, a little bit strange, but they were...
Yeah.
Surely just...
I
don't know any better.
Yeah. I think that was one of those main things. I think when you got to the place, you noticed that he gave you books to read, but the books, certain pages were ripped out. And in fact, when he brought you to his place and kind of showed you around, it's like, well, darling, I need to call you something. What should I call you? What do you don't recall your name? But surely there's a name that I could call you.
I don't really know any names. What are good names to choose?
Oh, if you are allowing me to offer a name, then I have the perfect name of a woman that is strong, that is very loving and beautiful, such as yourself. Eve. I shall call you Eve.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Trek. I love it. It means even more because you gave it to me. Eve, that will be my name.
Yes. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. You deserve nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Now, fast forward a few weeks to a month. You mentioned a few kind of weird things going on. There seemed to be guests coming to the house that would be, kept in a room for their own safety. And he put Eve in charge of making sure that they were safe and they were kept safe. And ever so often, Eve and Trick would go into the market, hand in hand, arm in arm. It seemed to be just the fashion that he would take Eve. And Trick was so, you can tell, in fact, he was the most happiest when he would ask you to do something and you do it. Wait here for me, darling. And then he'd go off and come back. And you just see this smile on his face of just, you just know how to make me happy.
And she would just smile. She was happy to see him happy. And while he was gone, she would pass the time watching people, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Then the day happened. You remember the music playing in the marketplace. In fact, there was one where the crowd were surrounding and drew the attention. And in fact, as when Trick asked you, just as he did many a time, as was the routine, and you know exactly what made him happy. This was when you waited and were there listening to his every word. You got caught up in the music. I'm going to ask Oren perhaps just to kind of describe what the music may have sounded like.
Probably a lively little jaunt. He might have been singing the donkey riding song. Hey ho, donkey riding, hey ho, riding on a donkey.
That's a crowd pleaser for
my
sure.
My favorite sea shanty.
Yeah. Eve's just like peeking her head over the crowd like, what is that?
It's a song you'll take home with you, of course.
Sort of catchy.
Well, it just kind of sticks in the head. This probably was the first time, I think, Eve, where you heard such a music that seemed to get the crowd really excited. And to be a part of that, just there at the right moment and hearing it, probably kind of touched you in a way that you haven't felt from music. There was something about the situation, this you know, where you found yourself at this time. And it was then that you were approached and you didn't quite realize that someone was holding a flower by your face and saying, my dear, a flower for someone so beautiful as you, please. It would be my honor for you to have it.
Sorry, I didn't see you.
Oh,
sorry. That's it's beautiful. Thank you. Then she'll take the flower.
Yeah, you take the flower and it looks like what you'll know later as a lily, and it was like a white petal with a kind of a pinkish middle, and you see the gentleman, and he's blonde hair and he's blonde and he has these blue eyes, and he's kind of just a younger man, like younger than Trick, and by giving a judgment of the age, you could see that perhaps he was like 19 years of age. And he's holding this, it's like, it's absolutely, it brings me such joy to see you enjoy that flower. But I do notice that this is not the right flower for you. No, I'm usually a good, I can feel and connect people to the right perfect flower. And I can see now that this is all wrong. There's a flower that this doesn't suit you. You can keep it, but please, if you join me in my florist shop, just right over there, and he kind of points, and you can see that just a few meters away, there's a shop with a sign. I will get you the perfect flower for you.
That's quite a talent. And she'll look around because she knows that she's kind of supposed to wait, but presumably she doesn't see Trick around anywhere.
Nope. Trick's going about his business.
And she's thinking, he's still running his errands. Surely I can just, the shop is right over there. I can just go and see it quickly and then be back in no time. And she'll say, sure, it's right there. I must be quick though. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Oh, forgive me. My name is Tomas.
Tomas, yes. Pleasure to meet you, Tomas.
It is an absolute pleasure to meet you. And may I ask your name?
My name is Eve.
I could have guessed such a lovely name for such a lovely person such as you. Oh, I am already sensing the flower, the perfect flower for you. And you're just in luck. I just had a fresh shipment of them. So they are most fresh. And not only will I give you one, I will give you one that is planted in a beautiful pot that you can take home and grow yourself. I just have this feeling that you need this flower in your life.
I love flowers. I would like to take care of one. I've never taken care of one before. But yes, quickly, please.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, again, I'm sorry. I don't mean to take up your time. And then he kind of sort of, follow me. And you can see that you're going into, the florist shop, and he has a sign out front, and the florist shop is actually full of all these different types of flowers, plants hanging, cacti, all from the different regions of the empire, and flowers that you haven't seen, the lilies that you saw, different pink ones and blue ones, all lined up. It's the aroma itself. For you've never smelt all the different aromas of all the beautiful flowers. And he takes you in, and he goes behind in the back, and he's like, I'll just be just a moment. Just wait right there. And so he goes.
And she'll kind of, while he's gone, she'll just wander around and look at all of the flowers and admire them. She very much, she is happy in Trick's estate, but she feels a certain draw to the natural world, and being among flowers feels very calming and almost home-like, comforting. So
Yeah. And as you're there admiring, then you hear Tomas from the back coming out, and he's holding a potted plant. and he's holding what looks to be like this white colored flower with these kind of multiple different kind of petals, all kind of standing up. And at first, the flower caught your attention because there was something about this flower that like there was a connection, like he was saying. You're like, wow. But then it was his face that got the rest of your attention. Because as he was saying, yeah, Eve, I have just the thing. And he went blank.
Are you all right? What's the matter?
That's when you heard the voice. Darling.
She'll turn around so fast. Oh, Trick, I'm sorry. Did I keep you waiting? I didn't mean to keep you waiting.
You weren't where you said that you would be.
Sorry, I was going to come right back, but just wanted to see the flowers. I'm sorry, I should have kept track of time.
This young man was trying to seduce you with a flower. Really, darling, you would fall for such a trick?
It's just being nice. It's harmless, really. It's just a flower. Let's see.
As you were talking, you noticed that the boy wasn't moving, the young man, Tomas. And Trick's hand is holding an amulet.
Is this the first time I see it? I've seen this?
This is the first time.
Okay. What is that? I think this is really just a misunderstanding, and he's harmless. We can just go home. I'm done anyway now.
And this is probably the first time where you actually began to hear a different voice of Trick. Oh. No, darling. No. I'm going to teach you the truth about this world. You think this man is innocent? Darling, could you be so naive? Look at him with that foolish face, staring with lust in his eyes. Do you not see it? Oh.
What are you doing? What's happening to him? He was... Something's wrong.
Oh, yes. Darling, just you wait. Let's see exactly what he wants to do with you. And that's when he holds the medallion and then walks up to Tomas and says, please do what you would like to her. And that's when all of a sudden this Tomas holding this potted plant drops it. The flower that you saw and that you had that connection just crashes onto the ground as he stomps on it. And he runs, like just kind of walks fast towards you, his hands reaching out to grab you.
I stumble back and just... What's going... Stop this. Trick, what are you doing? What did you do to him? What's happening? I don't understand. Thomas just... What are you doing?
As Eve, you begin to kind of back around because you see that Tomas is walking, and you can see that it's not the face that you sort of recognize. The eyes are completely like just empty, but fixated on you. And all you can hear is Tricks that I just unlocked his deepest desire, darling. I'm showing you the truth. And you can see that if you allow him to grab you, that you will definitely not, you'll definitely not want to be underneath that poor boy.
Stop this. Please just stop this. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Amas at this point grabs you, begins to kind of try to hold your shoulders. Again, blank face.
And
come on.
She just kicks him, picks up a piece of the shattered flower pot and kind of hits him with it as he's coming toward her.
Yeah. And as you're doing that, Trick is saying, come on, darling, come on. Are you going to really let him have his way with you? Fight him.
I don't want to hurt him. Just please help me. Please stop this.
You can roll an attack roll if you'd like, just to see how badly, if you were able to hit him off you.
Is that just like a strength? How do I roll?
Yeah, you can certainly do that. Yeah, if you have like a dagger, it will do like with a -4, just because you're using like a makeshift dagger.
Okay. I'm struggling to find a dagger, so I'm just gonna roll a strength, I guess.
Yeah, let's roll strength. That's fine.
Or let's see. I guess like that's not even. Oh, maybe like an.
Rolls athletics, yeah.
Same sequence. That's a 5. So not great.
That's with your adding in the stuff, everything. You rolled a 5.
I have no bonuses to strength.
Fair.
It's not
with that
very...
5. It's your hits. You first time like you're actually trying to defend yourself doesn't go well. You hit him off, and Trick again begins to taunt you. Come on, darling, you can do better than that. Look at him. He's got his lust in his eyes and fire in his loins. Come on, darling.
I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to hurt anyone. Please, just stop this.
As you begin to plea and cry, and you can see Tomas just walking towards you and with his hands trying to grab you. That's when Trick intervenes and just says, stop. And just immediately he just stands up and stands still. Darling, can't you see? His inner desire was to do terrible things to you. He wanted to ravage you. And if I wasn't here, he would have had his way. Now, darling, stand up, please. Yeah, wipe away your tears. Put your dress together
quickly and tries to just like brush herself off, but she's clearly very shaken. Can we go now?
Oh, yes, definitely. But I must teach this young man a lesson, for he cannot go after my one true love. And he says that with a sort of sly grin underneath his breath. And then he whispers to the young man, It is your wedding night. And the cactus is your wife. And you must consummate the marriage. And you cannot stop until she is satisfied. And as you are leaving, you see just the Hamas walk towards the cactus in the corner and just grab it and just press his face to it. And you can see the quills sticking into his face as he begins to then have his way with the cacti. And it was the cries that usually are cries of pleasure. They sound like pain. It was definitely the cries of pain.
Yeah, Eve's trying to just drown that out and not hear that as they leave. She's just very quiet.
You see what you made me do? It's because I love you so much, Doc. This would not have happened had you just listened to me and stayed where I asked you to stay. This hurts me. Do you think he deserves that?
I'm sorry. No, wait. Next time I won't talk to anyone.
Yes, better. Now thank you, darling. You hurt me so much. All the things that I do for you. I give you a roof over top of your head. I give you a warm bed. I let you lie next to me. And this, you hurt me. You hurt me, darling.
Right. Must be something I can do to make it up to you. Sorry.
Perhaps I'll think of something. But just please don't let this happen again.
I won't. Ever.
This was life with Trick. And this was the first time that something like this occurred, where you saw the side of Trick that was probably always there, but Eve was just naive enough not to see it. This is the first time where she saw how dangerous Trick could be. And things began to change after that. As you walk by the musician playing, Oren, you would see, again, perhaps notice the girl with the pink hair, kind of going to the flower shop, then walking out with what you assume perhaps was her dad. But it was during that time that perhaps after the performance that Oren, the sun now hitting its highest peak in noon, on the noonday, it was the morning when this all occurred. And Oren, you would feel again this feeling of dread. And you would think that you would need to find the shade. And what better place to find shade than the woods, that where your friend that where you don't know her name yet, but that one girl that you saved from the ship was like living. Because in the noonday sun is when you feel and hear the laugh in your head as you feel the streaks across your back as the wounds begin to open up. You hear, boy, 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 just echoing in your head as these streaks. You go out into the woods, you find your way into the forest, hoping to find that later you'd know as Sabine. But the pain on the back gets you so much that that you kind of get the instinct to go back into town. In fact, out in the woods, you did see a girl, a young woman, gathering some herbs, and was walking back into town, and so whatever instinct was going through your head, you kind of thought, maybe I should go back into town and find some ointment for the back. Morwen would make her way down from the forest, perhaps didn't see Oren. Not sure if maybe Oren, if you were keeping your distance, you can certainly roll a stealth roll. And Morwen, you would roll a perception roll, but with a -4 as you are kind of in a hurry. And you can describe what got you into a hurry. Why were you in a hurry during this day to go into meet Clay and the teas and tome?
What did you roll, Lauren?
The 23.
Oh, I only rolled a 19, so.
So Oren, yeah, you're able to sort of hide yourself in the woods and still kind of, she catches your eye, but Morwen is oblivious.
Yeah, I think
to
she'd
your
just
presence.
be, thinking about how she has to get back into town because Joe said, never leave Remorham. And she snuck out again and she keeps sneaking out. And if Joe finds out, she's going to be in so much trouble. But also, she could be in a lot of danger right now. And she needs to just go. She needs to go back to town.
Yeah. And back to town you do, and you go down the marketplace and you go by, the Joe's, the storefront is where, you're walking down that market way.
Mm-hmm.
And then across the way, just about three stores down, Clay's Teas and Tome. And it has a little door with a bell.
Hey, I'm here. I brought you those herbs that you asked me to find for you.
Well, it's about time, girl. Oh my goodness, look at you. Oh, were you out in the woods? Your dress is a mess. Oh my, what is that? Oh, darling. And he just kind of walks and kind of pulls this little like branch and a twig. Really? You are too much. You are too much.
Oh, thank you, Clay. I didn't know that was there. I definitely was not out in the woods though.
Weird. Oh, well, have you heard any news? Come, please, spill the tea. Tell me.
I don't know. I think that new singer has a new song.
Oh, the handsome one.
Donkeys.
The donkey rider.
Yeah.
Yes. He really picks up my eardrums, if you know what I mean.
No, what do you mean?
Oh, You are such a bore, girl. Do you get out? Do you read? What do you learn in those books that you read?
Oh, well, I read about history and I read about politics. And you know what's
Oh,
really
and
fascinating is, I'm
as
sorry,
you're talking,
don't mind
you
me.
can see him just go, oh, like just absolutely disgusted. Oh,
I'm
blah,
sorry, you're
blah,
right.
blah, blah. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now let's get down to business. Please, the goat salve. You were
Oh,
going to give me the recipe for the goat salve.
um, yeah, well, Joe said that maybe I shouldn't like tell anyone the recipe. Um,
Oh, Joe Smo. That's what I say to that. Oh, if the people could hear you talking right now, oh, the stories they say, did they call you? Oh, darling, oh, sweetie, let me tell you something. They say that, oh, I don't know, listen, not me. You can trust old Clay, but they call you a witch. It's the silliest thing you've ever heard.
um, yeah, I guess that's kind of silly. I don't know. Why would they call me that?
It's because you keep all your secrets to yourself. Now, if you're truly not a witch, you'd help old Clay here with a recipe of goats and let's prove them wrong. Shut up,
Oh,
sit down. Let's prove them wrong. You're no witch. You are you're a friend. You're a free spirit. Girl, you are independent.
you're right. I should probably share everything.
Hi.
So
Um, Hi there. Um, quick
you're
question.
that guy.
Yeah. Quick question.
Yeah.
What does your goat self do?
Well, it's actually it's a very
Did you mean?
healing um
And
salve.
Clay's like, I think he's talking about my goat salad.
No,
You were about to give me.
definitely hers. Do you have some of that
You
goat
know,
self to sell me, or is it back at your shop?
actually, you can just have this free sample. And
Oh.
she pulls it out of her bag.
I would love to go back to your shop maybe and buy some from you. Can we go do that right now?
Oh,
No,
sure.
no,
Please.
sorry, sir. Please, you're interrupting. Oh, I don't care how handsome you are. Get out of here.
Clay, you know who I am, and I know who you are, and I think that you know what a story can do in this town, and I think that a story about Clay taking advantage of an innocent young girl would probably not be great for you, right?
You play dirty. That is dirty pool. Yes, please leave my shop. Morwin, Winnie, you're really dampening the mood here. This is a place of esteem and prestige, and I think I've had enough of your guys' company. But yes, thank you. There's no taking advantage here. You have a complete misunderstanding, and you know that I know lawyers, and anything that may be said about Clay's teas and tome is considered slander. And perhaps, darling, you look that up in a book to find out what that is.
Well,
and sweeties, thank you so much.
And
I
Clay,
know what
just go now.
slander means.
Just so you know, Clay, if I ever hear of Clay's tea shop or any of your affiliates selling anything even remotely close to her goat salve, you might hear an awful lot of slander coming from an awful lot of places in this city. But of course, I would never. I just tell stories as I hear them.
And he just sort of now you see his face just kind of go a bit white, and he's dressed like perfect, like his hair, which is he's trimmed it to embrace his baldness. He is perfectly manicured, And you could see that he is just like speechless. You just go and we'll pretend this never happened. And I wish you all the best in your little shop there, Morwen. You and Joe are doing fine work.
Thanks, Clay. I do still need the payment for the herbs.
Looks at Oren. And how much was that I owed you for the herbs? It was simple. It was 5 coppers.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Gold, actually.
Silver, I think.
Oh.
It was probably 5 silver.
And you can certainly roll an intimidation.
For
Which we
real.
know as a performance, you crazy champion.
Morwen like turns wide eyes at Oren like
Would
It'd be a 28.
you roll a
And he's
natural
like,
20?
No, 17 plus 11.
Poor Silver. He's just gonna biting his. Yes. Poor Silver. 1, 2, 3, and then just finally 4. Just beat red now.
thank you so much for your business. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go now.
Everyone knows Clay's an
holding his breath,
upstanding
like-
businessman. Thank you,
He's
Clay.
just holding the vein on his forehead.
His eyes like twitching.
Just blood pressure. His blood pressure's acting up.
And as Morwen's leaving the shop, she's gonna turn back and be like, would you like another delivery of herbs next week, Clay?
And that's when you hear something thrown across the room, a smash against the wall.
Okay.
And you hear all the colorful words coming from Clay's tease and tome. Yeah, Morwen, Oren, you follow Morwen back, and you find her in there, and you saved her from being taken advantage of. What is the conversation like as you guys make your way back?
Thank you. You didn't have to tell Clay off. I mean, he's my friend. He's not very nice sometimes, but he's still my friend.
Yeah, I get that. But also, friends don't try to take advantage of each other. You know, when you have something that's really good, people will do anything they can to take it from you. And I think that what it sounds like is your goat salve might be something that's really great and could help a lot of people. And I think that someone like Clay might use that to take advantage and maybe charge people more than they should, and it might hurt you and your family. So you should probably keep that a secret. And no matter what he says, don't give it to him.
Okay. You know, I didn't know that he had a goat salve before today.
He probably doesn't. Well, what is this goat salve? Why is it so good?
Well, a lot of people get it because it's really good for healing cuts and things like that. It's a really good disinfectant. A lot of people come in talking about getting things out. I don't know what they mean. But it's a really good healer. That's what I made it for.
Oh, well, you know, that's sounds like exactly what I'm looking for. How much is it? Well, I just need some good goat salve.
Okay. Well, since you just helped me and made Clay give me way more money than he ever has. You can have a jar for a silver.
What do you normally charge?
5 silver.
Wow. How about this? I'll give you a silver for the goat salve, and I'll give you 4 silver as a tip so you can get something nice for you.
Oh, thank you. Actually, the first one is always free, though.
Oh, you shouldn't do that. Anything that's worth having shouldn't be free.
Yeah, but some people, they just really need help and they really need healing. And, I'd rather give people the help that they need than just take their money. I don't need money.
I like you, Morin. Let's go back to your shop, and I want to see what else you have.
Sure. Joe's has lots of odds and ends. Rusty, he's got his plate breaking business, and Marcus, he makes really pretty mosaics, and Penelope, she's an artist. She makes lots of dolls. They're kind of scary.
Dolls are scary.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm really interested in this plate breaking business. It seems
oh yeah,
interesting.
Joe says that we should always really just work on our talents, and Rusty's just so good at breaking things.
Interesting. I'd like to meet him.
He's great. I love Rusty. I just don't let him around anything that, you find very important, because you won't have it for very much longer.
My goat.
That sounds like you're speaking from experience. Hopefully he doesn't get into the goat salve either.
Yeah. I have to hide the jars up really high because sometimes, he gets into it and then I lose a lot of jars.
I get that.
It's very sad.
As Oren and Morwen make their way back to Joe's shop, Oren, this is the first time that you sort of get truly introduced to Joe and actually realize who Joe Johannes Flick is. You recognize him as El Cabra. That's the name that he had when he fought in the arena. Quite a famous gladiator. In fact, one of the only gladiators out of a handful that won their freedom by not dying in the ring, but being a crowd favorite that the magistrates gave him his freedom. And for the last 20 years, he's been living the free life. And so you would know of his exploits in the arena and also know of the goodness that this guy has in his heart as he opened his home to these 3 young children who aren't his, as you learn they're orphans, and to Morwen. Teaching them the trade of living the goat life. But as that scene comes to an end, as already this is how the connection you two made, there's one final scene that we're going to get to before we say goodnight to episode 9, and that is the story of Sabine in the woods, who liked to watch a certain couple. And Sabine, what's the fairy tale, I suppose, or best way to ask, what's the story that you ultimately kind of tell yourself between this two couple, this girl with pink hair and this man, handsome man, and they walk arm in arm?
Well, in her mind, they are, well, she doesn't quite know the proper word for it, but it would be, what animals do in the forest. And that would probably be a mate. They would be mated. They obviously love each other very much, and maybe he will do loving mate things, and maybe groom her hair, or perhaps they bathe each other, maybe go swimming and go take mud baths, perhaps they pick the bugs out of each other's hair sometimes, perhaps find some sort of clothing, because she does dress quite pretty, and they love each other very, very much, and Sabine's guardian didn't have someone that was his mate anymore, but she watched a lot of other people in her village that did, and so she quite likes watching them because it makes her happy.
And as was your routine to watch the happy couple go out into the city and then come back and, arm in arm. And as there was one particular night, one particular day that was very different. It started out the same way. You would be observing and you'd see the happy couple out in the grass, walking in amongst the fields and the lawn. And then they would go back inside. And then after a while, it seemed like, there was something about that day that kept you there. And perhaps it was to leave a gift. Maybe you were just looking for the right moment.
Oh, true. I do love leaving the woman gifts on her porch and watching her face scrunch up.
It was the best time during the day seeing that reaction. Then you saw the man leave. By himself. This was a bit odd. You never really kind of saw him leave by himself, not usually, just something about it seemed odd, because that's when you smelled the smoke. And that's when you began to see the flames ignite within the house. Sabine, your friend with the scrunched up nose, is still inside the building. What would Sabine do?
The man hasn't come back yet.
The man's gone.
She would kind of peek out and look around to make sure that she is safe and secure and that no one is around, and would kind of creep out of the tree and run to the door. If there's no one there, she'd run to the door.
You run to the door is locked.
She kicks it.
Heat from the inside. You kick it. There's something about your instincts now. As you kick this door, go ahead and roll your athletics as you are now. And you can have a +4 to this roll.
Okay, good. That's good. Oh, this isn't my stuff. Okay, well, that's good, I guess. What did I roll? 4? Okay. 4 plus what?
19.
It's 19 total? 19 total.
19 total?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. With that, the door is reinforced. You're noticing now as you're getting to the door, immediately as you kick it, you normally you would suspect the door to move in a little, like busted a little easier. This one, you were able to open it, but barely. It was a strong, reinforced door. It opens slightly. You're able to squeeze in. Immediately, you're faced with a bunch of smoke in your face as you begin to see now flames kind of pop up as almost as spontaneous. You see chairs in the living room. You're in the foyer, and as you walk into the great hall, you see these chairs begin to burst. You see a fireplace that's, yes, burning also with fire, but the fireplace itself is burning. The walls begin to be licked with flames. Your friend is nowhere to be seen. Your eyes go around the room. Roll a perception check to see what you see.
Oh, that was good. I rolled 19 on the die, plus, where is it? 8, I believe. Yeah, plus 8 for perception. So 28.
28.
Right.
As your instincts kicking in, you are able now to take a look within the room. You're seeing that there are rooms within the living room that it looks like they were kind of created. They have doors and there's locks. But these doors are open and these padlocks are hanging. So these rooms are now empty. Flames kind of burst off inside. You're looking at the windows. The windows themselves are barred. And you're like,
weird. Why? All right. She'll like notice it.
And then, yeah, like you're like this house, this mansion, this place, this dwelling, you're now getting the sense of a prison. So much so that you're more fear of your friend.
Yep.
I want you to roll an occultism.
Oh, all right. 19 again. Plus 26.
You walk into the fiery mansion. You head towards these kind of padlocked rooms that begin to be again fill up with flames and smoke. You're stopped there. You see a hallway that leads down the hallway, and then you see a set of stairs that kind of go up. As you begin to make your way over there, the flames fill that room, just boom, like all of a sudden just preventing you from even going any further. But yet, all of a sudden, you seem called to beside within the foyer, for there are stairs going down, and they are not on fire. It almost seems the flames themselves are pushing you towards a certain direction, and that direction is downstairs into the underdwelling, which the fancy people call a basement.
All right. She will listen and start to creep down the stairs. Does she smell does she smell a whiff of Eve within the thread of within the smoke at all? Can she scent her?
You will roll a perception check with a -4.
Oof, okay. Wait, wrong one. Perception -4?
Yeah.
12.
Well, you get the whiff of you get the whiff of something else. You're trying to smell for Eve, and every so often they would dry clothes outside and the laundry, and you get a good whiff of what they smelled like.
Darn laundry soap.
You can't laundry soap. Follow the soap. You can't smell the soap. Instead, you're smelling the smell of blood, of baked blood. You're smelling the smell of flesh, but it's not flesh that is of an animal. You're beginning to smell the flesh of people. You go down into the basement. You can see that there's a hidden door in the first area that you're in. In fact, it's hidden behind the statue. It seems that you're being called to that location. The smell of your nose is bringing you to where the smell of this blood is. You enter into an area that is a kitchen, a large kitchen. On the chopping block, you see a butcher's knife. You see blood all over this cutting board. There are ovens down where you're at. And you smell what you were smelling coming from this kitchen. However, you also see another door off to the side. Eve is not in the kitchen.
I open that door.
You open the door, and you can now see the flames of the floorboard shining down just ever so often, glistening on the chains that are hanging within this room. The room itself is about 30 feet in length, as if it's taking up half the mansion. Chains with hooks. You make your way through. Now you're trying to smell more. Maybe now that you're outside of the kitchen, try and roll a perception roll to see if you can smell the scent of Eve.
Yeah, that was better. Okay. 21.
With a 21, you are able to pick up the scent right away, and you know exactly where to go. You run down to the end of the hallway. The smell of the blood, the dried blood, and the blood on the ground, you can almost think that you see bits of body parts laying as if they've been severed and chewed upon. You're not quite sure. You're just rushing through. You get to the end, you open the door, and there, in amongst this circle, in amongst an archway that is now solid closed, but it seemed like there's an archway at the center of this circle. You see Eve laying as if lifeless on the floor, face down, just sprawled out. Candles burning. The smell of incense in the room.
She goes and rushes towards Eve and rolls her over to check her to see if she's still alive.
I want you to roll a society roll.
Okay. Because she's so good at, hey, you know what? My work. Let's
How do you
see.
keep rolling 19s?
I don't know.
I'll do my theory.
Yep. Well, that's good because it means society is 1. So that'd be just 20.
20. That is enough. The moment that you roll her over, the moment that you're up close with her, all of a sudden you feel this instant connection, that this bond that has been there before. You feel all of a sudden a connection that you are here and you are here to get her out. And it isn't a bond that you're just forming. It's almost like a memory. As you pick her up and as you leave that room that you leave bursts up in flames. The room of the chains, the moment you leave there, bursts up in flames. You go to the kitchen, as the moment you leave to the other room, into that area to go to the stairs, bursts up in flames. Every step that you take bursts up in flames. And you're at a point where you are left blocked from the door, which the top of the mansion which has caught fire. The timber has fallen, blocking the entrance of where you came.
Fuck, and the windows are barred?
The windows are barred.
Okay. She's going to set Eve down somewhere where there's not so much flames, and she's going to try and rip the bars off the window.
Okay,
You know
I want
what?
you to roll
fuck it. She's just gonna try and smash through the wall with her. She's gonna rage and just fucking smash through the wall. It's up in flames. She ain't got time. She's just gonna fucking try and smash through the wall.
All right. In that case, then, as you rage now, and instead of rolling on to grab the bars to see if you can rip them off, you can see that the flames are licking up on these walls, and you know that if you rush through the walls with flame, that there might be a chance that you'll be able to bust through.
You.
And so you do. What did you roll?
What am I rolling for? Athletics? Okay.
You're rolling a strength check.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah. Okay. I know math. 28. I rolled the 17, y'all.
18.
Yeah,
critical.
It is a freaking critical success. So you
The building just explodes and she jumps out like
exactly
like Tom Cruise.
On the other side. The scene, you know, the camera's fixated. What do they see as you bust through?
Oh man. Okay. So she's cradling Eve like this, and she's kind of like holding her tight, and she's like looks around, and she's just like, I don't know where to go. And she kind of like goes into the living room a little bit, like area, and just sees the bars on the windows, and just realizes this girl has been in a cage. And I thought she was free, and she's been in a cage this whole time. And she gets so mad by that, and her eyes just go brilliant gold, and her fangs get long, and her claws start to go out, but she kind of holds them out a little bit so they don't pierce Eve at all, as she's kind of like holding her, and just friggin' smashes in through the wall with her back as she like makes a running jump leap towards it to like hold Eve close so she doesn't hurt her, and smashes through the wall.
And in that instant, it's as if the wood, the flames, the ember was waiting for you to show up as you push this matter away, as it almost as if it splits in your presence as you burst through this wall. You are able to dive to safety, as where you leapt out just all of a sudden just explodes with flame, as the mansion itself engulfs in this massive fire. Whatever was inside surely has been burnt down. And you're there holding this girl, this young woman that you have watched, that you have somehow been fascinated with. And yet all of a sudden in that moment, you realize that there was a reason. I know this person. I need to keep her safe.
Yeah. So she would kind of be full of adrenaline and just rage, and just kind of take a couple of deep breaths. Like Corvi taught her to calm down, just, you know, in through your nose, out through your mouth, kind of breathe, and would just say, well, I guess we go home. And carries her back to her hovel.
And in that scene, there is where Sabine and Eve get properly introduced for the very first time. That story, though, we will save for another day. As we come close to an end of our session, we have gone through a lot of stories and a lot of backstory. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that these stories add a little bit more to the characters and to the 𝑘'mārn Empire in which they reside, of course, in Anatis, the mysterious continent in which they reside, where the 𝑘'mārn Empire lives. Now, before we sign off, I believe there was some questions like in the Instagram, and we did say that there could be time for a Q&A. So how about we end with one question? Is that fair? Okay.
And in the chat,
Sarah?
if you guys have any questions in the chat really quick that you want us to answer, shout them
Question
out.
from Instagram and a question from chat. Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Which one did you want to answer, Tone?
No, you pick. You pick.
Oh, I
you
pick.
ask the question. Yeah.
Okay. How about what is a place in your world you'd love to flesh out and have the players visit?
Oh, great question. Well, the thing is that there are many places within, and I think what we're going to be doing perhaps for episode 10 is reveal the world, the empire map. That way everyone will be able to kind of see the places with the names. There's so many awesome places in the 𝘼𝙣𝙣𝙤 Empire. There's the 𝘼𝙤𝙤𝙤 Sea. If you haven't noticed that the 𝘼𝙤𝙤𝙤 Sea is the shape of Italy, but it's the sea. And also, I did mention Thieves' Retreat, and I did mention Stikazi, which is the pirate cove. That is like that's the pirate area. The 𝘼𝙣𝙣𝙤, the city of 𝘼𝙣𝙣, which is the capital city. That's where the emperor resides. And of course, Apollo's Sanctum, which is part of the story already, has been brought up. This is the university city. This is where the origin of the map, or I keep saying map, scroll that Morrowind found. It seems to be drawn from there. There's so many places about the 𝘼𝙣𝙣𝙤 Empire, but the 𝘼𝙣𝙣𝙤 Empire is just one single spot within the continent of Anatis. In fact, it is in the Anatis region of the continent. There are other locations within this place that I would love these characters to continue to see and find out about. For example, there's the Basamortu region, which is next door to the region of Antipus, where the 𝘼𝙣𝙤𝙤 Empire is. There is also the region of 𝘼𝙤𝙤𝙤, which is beyond the mountain range. There is the region of 𝘼𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤, which is a little bit more difficult to get to. These are all places within the continent. The 𝘼𝙣𝙤𝙤 Empire is just one section. So to truly explore Anatis, it would be going beyond the empire. And perhaps our heroes would do that, or maybe those are stories for another time. Because there's this continent is much more than what we've been talking about. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Does that answer the question?
It does, and more.
Flawlessly, buddy.
Yeah.
I can't wait to explore all of those places. I'm so excited.
Same.
Awesome. Yeah. Question from the chat.
When's the Mortal Rolls hoodie giveaway?
Sarah already said it.
Yeah, I did. Episode 20, maybe.
Episode 20.
So every 10 episodes, a little giveaway?
Yeah.
Every 10 episodes we do a giveaway, maybe. I don't know. We're doing an episode, or we're doing a giveaway next episode. So make sure you tune in and check out our Instagram.
Yep.
So that now you can enter our giveaway. It's pinned at the top.
Yes.
Free dice.
Free dice.
Yes, dice. Chunky dice.
Also,
Chunky dice.
we have a very important question. Why are you all so cool?
Excellent question.
I was born that way. Oh, and also trauma.
I was about to say years of trauma and teasing and being told that I'm a nerd.
See, that's just a love. People. That's a love call for me.
And then not caring.
I'm like, that girl's like that dude's like a 4, but he hangs out with a bunch of 10s, and you think he looks like a 9 because of it. I think that's me. What? I'm like a 4 hanging out with a bunch of 10s, so I look like an 8.
You're insane.
Oh nice. Man, it's hard. What a question! The fact that you even asked that question, wow, that's awesome. That means so much. I think that we are so lucky to have found each other. We found each other so randomly, I guess you could say, but it seemed like it was fate. We're all in different places. Like, goodness gracious, Ree's the furthest away, and here we are. But awesome. Thank you so much for thinking that and asking that. That's amazing. Is there another question? Is that the one that we're ending on? Is there?
I think that is there were two questions. One is, how are you so cool? And one was, when's the hoodie giveaway?
Oh, okay. Sweet. Is there another question from Instagram? Do we have time for just one more question?
We have time for another Instagram
one
question.
more
I think
incoming.
another one. We have one more coming from the chat, I think.
One more coming in? Awesome.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
How do you work on
DM prep?
What's that, sorry?
How do you work on DM prep?
Okay. Fun fact about Tone Bone.
It's the Tone Bone.
I like rhyming.
It's Professor Tone, let's be real.
Professor Tone. Oh, yeah, I gotta get Professor Tone. Professor Tone hasn't made an appearance as of late, so I better put on the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Professor Tone.
Whoa, where'd Tone go?
What
Professor Tone.
Sorry.
Professor
I was here the
Tone.
entire time. But so the way that I like to do prep, one thing about me is that I have ADHD. So prep it can be a challenge. But what I mean by that is I usually wait till the last minute. No. The way that I do prep is I think about each of the different locations. I think about the story, the characters, the NPCs. What is it that they have? What is it that they ultimately, what happened last session? What is it that the characters discovered? And that sort of drives where my mind goes. The heroes, the players are writing the story. I think for every DM, any GM knows that it's not the DM or GM's story. You can have an idea of where the story is going to go, but at the end of the day, it's the players who actually decide kind of what happens. And a GM, DM has to be flexible in order to adjust, because it just makes awesome sense, like to drive the story. So always have the idea of the big picture is where the prep goes. Is where I go. I love using Dungeon Alchemist for the maps that you see, like the 3D maps and stuff. It's so cool because you can do first person view and then record yourself as you're walking through it. So you'll see that in the YouTube videos and things. That's awesome. So I love doing that. I'll pick a location, kind of draw it up, have that ready to go. But in terms of what happens in each session, it's really driven by what the character's decisions are. For example, I'll give an example. It was not my intention in episode 8 to have a reveal of the fact that they are gods and that they saw each other. As the story progressed, it seemed like this was the moment to introduce it. So it's always to be ready. It's always to have, I think just having a general understanding of where the story is and but it's really feeding off the players of when this information comes out. I think that is ultimately how I could say for my prep is just kind of just being ready for how what the players will do.
For everything Kesu throws at me.
That's right.
And we also you're DMing for toddlers.
Has the thing that we've started doing with questions been helpful as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? I'll let Ree answer this because Ree found the questions. We had this idea. Ree put together the questions. So perhaps Ree, you can share the questions that we ask each other at the end of each session.
Yeah, sure. So we've started kind of after session while everything's still fresh, doing a kind of quick set of a few different questions for each of the players to think about and share the answers with the DM. So the questions are, but the first time we did it, we started with the question, what's your character's overarching goal? So then every session after that, the first question we ask is, has their overarching goal shifted? And if so, how? And I think that's just a really important question for players, because it gets you thinking about like what you get a sense of when something has happened that is significant enough that it's made you shift your character's trajectory. And having, I think, like what I would add as a player who really enjoys role play and the storytelling aspect of that, prep is on everyone. It's not just the DM. It's on players too. And if you are communicating between players and the DM, that's the best case scenario, because then you're driving the narrative together. So that was a slight tangent. So that's the first question. Second is just priorities. What's your character's priorities? And then lastly, who does your character want to have conversations with? In particular, I usually try to think of a conversation that my character might want to have with at least one, if not all of the other players, to have that in the back pocket for when there's downtime.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you, Ripu, for sharing the player perspective and sharing that absolutely valuable insight that it's not just the DM or GM prep, it's the player prep as well, and knowing the type of conversations and actually kind of thinking ahead of time what that could potentially sound like. The thing is that, I think each of us here love improvisation, like improv. Did I say it right? Improvisation.
Yep.
And I remember just kind of showing a clip of this to my family. Like, most of my family didn't really kind of realize what I'm doing, and so showing them what I'm doing. Not my immediate family, but my mother, and she's like, "So you like you have this is not written down, like this." You're not reading from a script. It's like, no, this is all just from the top of the head. And like, what?
It's crazy.
So brilliant. Yep. It's, so everything that you're hearing is like very, very minimal. Is sort of pre-written, like in terms of like descriptions, I think more so from my side, from the DM side, but everything that you're hearing is just the passion and the creativity and talent of these four people that you see before you there. I'm just I'm an observer here. I'm on the journey. I just love it. I think role playing is absolutely the true medicine to mental health. It is what's needed in the world today, to just kind of take a break and use the imagination and creativity. And if you haven't played a game or thinking of running a game, do it. Just take the plunge. Just do it. Because
just do it.
You overthink it too much, but just do it. Find the right people and do it.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely were so blessed with this lot of people. Like, couldn't ask for a better group of friends, and like it's just so rad to play a game like this, and to because you're really bearing your heart and soul out to with something like this, and putting your emotions and vulnerabilities, writing them into your characters, and then playing them out live. And so it's just been a lot of fun to not only write like our mortal characters, but then to also have the aspect of, we also have God characters too. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of find the juxtaposition between both of them, but also prep all of it together and write all of this out together. It's been so much fun.
100%. And that actually, I think I think, saying what, taking from what you said there, Casey, our plan with this, like you're seeing the mortal roles of these fallen gods. The event that occurred is unknown. It's unknown to the players. They don't know. The only people that know is myself.
We want to know. Dying to know.
Yeah.
Tell us.
And a guest GM that will help tell the tale of when they were gods leading up to the event. So that's something also that we're working on. Just so you all know, we're working on another campaign that's going to show from the god perspective, where they're at the level 20 characters, we're making their way to the event, to the fall. And we're going to be, anyways, we're showcasing all of that we can get the full experience.
2 and 1.
Anyways, we do it because we love it, and we do it because we love you. Thank you so much for making this possible.
This has been so amazing.
Keeping us motivated. Amazing.
Grills.
There we go. Final words. Was that a good way to end then the Q&A? There's no other.
Perfect.
That was
no other chat questions. There's a few on the Instagram, but we can answer them.
We'll get those later.
Next session.
Yeah.
Another day. Maybe we can
Another
do
day.
a story thing, or maybe on episode.
Ooh, I like that idea.
I like it. Okay, so then in that case, then episode 10 will be the continuation from episode 8. We're going to continue the story. This was the prequel. So next week, we will continue the tale of the heroes escaping the caverns underneath the city of Remorum and finding out if they're ever going to meet the Captain Flick. What's happening on the surface as they've been underground for so long. That's next week.
Yeah.
And as always, one final thought.
We also get
Sarah?
to figure out who wins.
Yes, and who wins. So, in saying that, we hope that you live your best selves in your own motor roles. We'll see you next time.
Bye guys, love you.